Sample size, again, it's a small sample. It's the nature of a case study. There's going to be drawbacks. We can't make generalizations. We can't say this is why this is occurring. We can just describe simply what is occurring. The procrastination dilemma is something that, that I named after talking with the clients, and a lot of clients said that once I get the ball rolling on something, I feel like I can stick with it. It's that first step that's so hard to take. So the question arises, well, is it really what we're doing in the coaching room that's so effective, or is it the fact that they've come to coaching and they've committed to coaching that is helpful in and of itself? Now, we have evidence against this in that, as I was mentioning earlier, a lot of therapy isn't proven very effective with students with ADHD, which is the same thing. They're getting the ball rolling with therapy, they're doing that, but the intervention is different. So non-behavioral therapy kind of says that that's probably not the case. And then experimenter and subject effects. I did the coaching, I recruited the clients, I analyzed the data. I tried to be as objective as possible, but there's going to be things in there. And same with subject effects. Things like the theory that people behave differently in a room when they know they're being observed. All these clients knew they were part of an experiment and that they were going to be recorded and things like that. So the possibility that they behave different is there. So just kind of to sum it up, we have several important favorable outcomes for coaching, and we also have several suggestions on ways that it can be improved. So again, this was an exploratory study. We developed a lot of questions, and we opened the door to a wide variety of possibilities for future studies. So this is where we're supposed to have the video.
Why don't you answer questions? I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Does anyone have any questions in the meantime?
On the photography, your photograph,
Right.
did you find there was more value from an analysis standpoint, saying, like, here's a picture of your room, and what are you going to do with this pile of stuff? Or was it a before-after kind of reward thing, like, look, remember what your room looked like before, and wow, look at the difference?
It was actually both. Clients reported that they liked it for both reasons. And similarly with writing down the goals and on a weekly basis, clients love to have that. It's almost a diary of what they've accomplished. And so on week 8, they would look back and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe week 1 I struggled with this, and now I'm here.
I heard that a lot of coaching is done by email and by phone, and I wanted to get your take on how effective that is and how much you can extrapolate from your study, even though yours is descriptive, but do you have any sense of whether this would have been as successful if you had done some of it by email or by phone?
It's a really hard question to answer. I mean, honestly, from an objective point, I can't say that it would be more or less successful. I can tell you in my personal business, I don't do that kind of coaching, except if it's with a client that I've already worked with face-to-face for several weeks and I feel like we could do it over the phone. But that's just my personal preference. There's people that do it all sorts of ways, and I can't say that this is any better or worse. You know, that just wouldn't be fair. Yeah.
I was just going to ask how many people in the room are coaches? Is there anyone who works on the phone who would like to address that question?
Yeah. Yeah.
I work over the phone primarily, and I just started working face-to-face, so I have both perspectives. And my feeling is that over the phone sometimes is more successful because they don't have the discomfort of someone looking at them, and someone who can be uncomfortable with that and have that distance, and you get more honesty and more objectivity from them because you don't have the face-to-face. So I've seen both sides of it, and I think that I also do video conferencing over Skype, and that works for those people who need the visual. So I think that coaches can be extremely effective in both situations, and it also depends on the coach and how comfortable they are with using their phone.
I will say that one risk of, especially with your younger clients, your adolescents, and is, you know, often they can be on the phone, and if you don't see that visual proof that they're doing what they say they're doing, they can be, oh yeah, I'm totally paying attention, and over here texting their friend or something like that.
Yeah, I had one client recently, video conferencing, I could see him looking at the screen in a different way.
Yeah.
And I said, you on Facebook?
Yeah.
And he said, I got it. And he said, yeah.
Yeah. All right, right here.
I want to share with you that we have a special model for parents who has children with learning disabilities and attention disorder.
Okay.
And we begin with the phone coaching.
You do phone.
We do, and the coach, she feels more comfortable because she has to follow up the model.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's doing that, nobody sees.
So you find it effective for the coach's comfort.
She can write everything, and she can. It's easier for her, and she said that it doesn't hurt the coaching process. But they met for the intake, and are going to meet when it's finished.
Yeah, well, the important thing to remember is everybody's different, and coaches are different, and the individuals being coached are different, and some people will work better with one way than another. It's just kind of finding what works.
Abigail, I just wanted to add with that part of the difference that many of us find is looking at not only our learning style and our preference, like for you, with your background and your training in therapy, you have been trained
Exactly.
face-to-face. I started coaching face-to-face, and due to the fact that I had to reach kids in, beyond my geographical DC area, which is bad enough as it is, it became a question of whether or not the student, the client, could handle it. There are kids who say, I can't do telephone, can I come see you? Well, of course. But if you can do phone and it works for a variety of reasons, including there is a laser focus that happens on the phone because they're sitting there, and I can actually sort of intuit when they're doing the texting. I mean, it's just one of those things that you build a relationship, you know what's going on.
Sure.
Oh, I know what's going on the other end of the phone. But that isn't for everyone. So there is a split in our profession around who does what, and it isn't a right or wrong, it's just a difference.
Exactly.
I have a question, because I'm kind of new to this whole concept of coaching. How do you become a coach, since there's so many coaches? And what kind of background are you?
There's a variety of ways. For myself, I'll start there. My background being in counseling psychology and school psychology, I was already into a cognitive behavioral framework of therapy, which is not that far off. And down at Florida State University, some of the professors down there at this Learning and Evaluation Center had started a practicum in ADHD coaching, and they do a lot of research on it down there. So I started with a practicum. I finished my doctoral degree, and I don't have, and someone else can probably speak on this, there's certifications that you can get and take training programs if you don't have that kind of background. For myself, it was kind of translating from the mental health to the coaching, but there's other ways you can do it. Jody?
I just want to help you and let you keep going. In the networking tonight from 5:30 to 7, coaching networking, join us. We're going to be talking about all those things. It's an open forum, and we welcome all that. We always have wonderful discussions. So that will clear up.
The only thing I would be wary of is because there's no, it's just like calling yourself a therapist. To be honest, you can call yourself a therapist and be nobody. So just be wary of those people who say, I'm a coach, and they may not have a credential of any kind. So that's just something that you as the consumer needs to be careful of.